Because like I said, I don't even know what's real anymore. I don't even know where to begin, okay? But this is an actual headline right now in Variety. It reads that Blake Lively hires CIA alum for crisis PR in legal battle with Justin Baldoni.
It all started with a single illustration, just one simple image that sent Hollywood's so-called golden girl into a full-blown tailspin. Fans and industry insiders were left wondering how someone once praised for charm and talent could plummet so drastically in public opinion. Suddenly, Blake Lively found herself in the center of a swirling storm of lawsuits, leaked text messages, and a fan backlash so fierce it threatened to bury her entire career. If you thought you'd seen celebrity meltdowns before, you might want to brace yourself, because what happened here is on a whole other level. But that wasn't the whole story. Long before the lawsuits and social media mudslinging, the first hints of trouble were barely whispered. Some people began questioning Blake Lively's squeaky clean, America's sweetheart image. She seemed to have it all: a celebrated film career, a picture-perfect family life, and even a bit of comedic flair on social media. Yet tiny rumors surfaced about her on-set behaviors, little murmurs of disagreements with directors or insistent demands that gave pause to anyone paying attention. At first, fans brushed it off as nothing more than idle gossip. After all, Hollywood thrives on rumor. But as these claims grew louder, observers started piecing them together like puzzle fragments. One rumored spat with a producer here, a controlling conversation with a script supervisor there. Something felt off, and it was only a matter of time before the facade cracked wide open. But that was just the beginning.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have moved to hire a PR crisis manager with deep government ties. As her legal battle with Justin Baldoni escalates, she's quietly working with Nick Shapiro, the CIA's former deputy chief of staff and senior advisor to former director John Brennan. So this guy, high up, just about as high up as you could possibly get.
The real powder keg exploded when a major magazine featured an eye-catching illustration, a simple image that seemingly exposed the entire power dynamic between Blake and a co-star turned adversary, Justin Baldoni. It portrayed Blake in a not-so-flattering light, as the aggressor slinging accusations that might have been more about seizing control than seeking justice. Outraged, Blake's team responded with a frenzy of PR maneuvers. She even brought in a former intelligence officer to handle the fallout, a move that looked more like hush-hush spy drama than a standard crisis management strategy. The plan was to squash rumors and frame her as the misunderstood victim. Instead, it fed the media machine, intensifying scrutiny and giving critics fresh ammo. Overnight, her carefully built reputation morphed into something unrecognizable. Cynics saw her as desperate, manipulative, and out of touch. But that wasn't the worst of it. In Hollywood, loyalty can be fickle. When the storm around Blake intensified, people she once considered friends began stepping away. Brands and studios worried about negative press. Co-stars hinted that working with her had grown tense and uncomfortable behind the scenes. Even members of her in-crowd showed signs of shifting their loyalties the moment the first major tabloid cover dropped. Some whispered that big names who once championed her now found her radioactively controversial. A-listers don't like messy public feuds or complicated lawsuits, especially ones that make headlines for all the wrong reasons. And the deeper Blake dug in, the more these so-called allies quietly stepped aside. Publicly, they stayed silent. But behind closed doors, insiders say they spoke candidly about her micromanagement style and legal intimidation tactic. And soon, her greatest trials arrived. No Hollywood flameout is complete without a messy legal saga. According to leaked court documents and insider chatter, Blake tried to paint a picture of being a victim on her film set. She alleged that she'd suffered misconduct and felt forced to take extreme measures. On paper, it sounded like a timely cause, another high-profile figure bravely standing against wrongdoing. However, Justin Baldoni wasn't going down without a fight. He had receipts, full text threads, emails, and behind-the-scenes accounts that suggested something else entirely. While Blake's team selectively showed messages out of context, Baldoni's side presented them in their entirety. Suddenly, claims that she was powerless or frightened started contradicting her own cheerful, friendly messages to him. More revelations hinted that she'd effectively taken over key production decisions meant for the director, ignoring creative boundaries. In court, these discrepancies became painfully obvious. Even the judge questioned why certain files appeared edited or deleted. Bit by bit, Blake's narrative eroded, overshadowed by mounting evidence that her story might not be as simple as she claimed. But legal battles are fought in public too, and the public made its choice. In the age of social media, fans can be merciless. Online, supporters who once adored Blake began to question everything. Why was she suddenly scrambling to frame her colleague as the bad guy? Could the friendly face they'd supported for years actually be responsible for power moves and manipulative games? Angry fans unfollowed by the tens of thousands. Some launched their own mini-investigations, dissecting old interviews where Blake joked about taking over or doing more than what she was hired for. Armed with these clips, critics accused her of bragging about controlling entire production. Viral hashtags urged people to boycott her upcoming projects. Even her famous husband didn't escape unscathed. His attempts to make light of the scandal came off as dismissive, fueling more outrage. Momentum built swiftly, and once the internet smelled blood in the water, it was nearly impossible to stop the feeding frenzy. But the chaos wasn't confined to Instagram and Twitter. While fans staged a digital takedown, Hollywood insiders performed their own brand of damage control. Producers murmured that attaching Blake's name to a project felt risky. If her behind-the-scenes conflicts or ongoing lawsuits overshadowed the film itself, the entire investment could tank. After all, no studio wants to see their project drowned by scandal before it even hits theaters. Brands looking for endorsements or partnerships also grew hesitant. The squeaky clean persona they paid big bucks for no longer seemed credible. Rumors spread that her agency was in panic mode, scrambling to preserve what was left of her marketability. Word on the street was that new deals got quietly shelved, while existing contracts reconsidered renewal. Industry watchers noted that many big names, directors and producers alike, simply didn't want the headache. In Hollywood, time is money, and controversy can drain both in a heartbeat. Faced with the choice of working with someone else or risking the chaos that seemed to follow Blake, the choice seemed obvious. That left only one question: was there any path to redemption? In one dizzying sequence of events, Blake Lively went from Golden Girl to untouchable. A single illustration on a magazine cover might have ignited the flames, but what truly doomed her were the layers of secrets and half-truths beneath the surface. While she insisted on fighting her battles publicly, the courts and the public alike demanded something she couldn't seem to provide: consistent, verifiable truth. Now, Hollywood's doors appear closed, and even longtime supporters grow quiet. The question is whether Blake can salvage any part of her former reputation. Can she apologize in a way that feels sincere and real? Will the next big revelation flip the script yet again? Or is this saga proof that once you lose the trust of both Tinseltown and a global fanbase, there's no going back? Ultimately, the lesson stands. In a world so saturated by information, genuine integrity matters more than the most polished PR campaign. Once people see behind the mask, no amount of spin can hide what lies beneath. And in Blake Lively's case, the mask didn't just slip, it shattered. Thank you for watching. If you found this reveal eye-opening, stick around. We're keeping an eye on every twist in this evolving drama. Until next time, stay curious, because in Hollywood, you never know what shocking turn is coming next.